Hello, welcome to my kitchen. I wanted to try to do like some vlogging style stuff. I'm gonna try my hand at editing. I don't think it's gonna go very well, but I wanted to talk a little bit this week about the books that I'm reading, kind of like a reading vlog. And I have a couple things lined up that I think are interesting and I do want to talk about them. It is Monday night currently. It's like 9:30-ish. And so I just finished reading the sample that Amazon gave me of the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. And I really enjoyed what I've read so far. It is on my up next of my TBR. And actually, I managed to find a used copy at my local thrift bookstore. It is a cheaper option than getting it on Kindle. So I am looking forward to that because what I've read so far, I'm very happy with. This is my second book that I've read by Barbara Kingsolver. The first one was Demon Copperhead, and I absolutely adored it. I loved the journal entry style that it was. I loved the narrator demon himself. Like, I enjoyed the way that this character just blossomed and came to life, and we follow him through his life. And so I wanted to read something else by her, and so I picked up the Poisonwood Bible a couple weeks ago, and I took a picture of it and I said, this is what I want to read. And so I put it on my TBR, and then it just so happened that it lined up really well to this week being a good week to read it. So I got the sample because I couldn't wait. I did have it lined up on Libby, but then the thrift book option seemed better, so I just released the Libby option because it was going to be like 2 weeks to get a hold of it, whole thing. So this book is about a family, a Baptist preacher, his wife, and 4 daughters, and it's the 1950s, and they moved to Africa as missionaries, and they are in the Congo. And it is another journalistic style. It's journal entries that are written by the mom and the 4 daughters, and it's really interesting that it rotates through them. In the sample, I was able to read, I think, 2-ish entries from every character that we get to read from, and I already have a very established picture of what the scene looks like, the setting looks like, and I have a pretty good established thought of first of all, where this book may be heading, and second of all, the characters and the diversity in the trains of thoughts and the way that they feel and the way that they are in this situation, and how they necessarily, like, whether they are okay with it or not okay with it, how they think about their parents, the girls especially, and getting to see how Barbara Kingsolver is going to handle disability in one of the daughters, and how she's going to handle writing journal entries from a daughter who, from the outside point of view, can't have cognitive function, but then we see that that's not actually true, because again, think about it, 1950s, they're not exactly hip with getting diagnoses right. So this is going to be a really interesting read. I'm really looking forward to it. I also tonight, because I am a masochist when it comes to reading, I also downloaded a sample on here of David Archuleta's memoir, and it's called Devout. And I did not know that he was Mormon growing up, and I also did not know that he is like out as a gay man. So these are 2 like important factors that he talks about in this memoir that I had no clue about him. I just know that he had a pretty face and he sang real good on American Idol. So I am looking forward to reading that. I got the sample just to test the waters, because if it's not a writing, like a memoir writing style that I super connect with, I'll still read it. I'll just put it on the Kindle. But if it's something that I do actually like super connect with, I'll go get like a physical copy. Also, I'm doing all of this before Thursday because Thursday morning we leave for our trip, and I have a designated book for the trip, and it is Strange Buildings by Uketsu, who is a Japanese YouTuber, also like a horror mystery writer. And so this is, I think, his 3rd book. I didn't read the other ones. They're all standalones from what I can understand. But I picked this one up because while we were in the bookstore, I was trying to find a book that would fit the vibe that I think I kind of wanted for our trip, and nothing was like really connecting. And then I just happened to pick this up because the cover is insane. Like, this is the cover, and it's really cool. It also has his little face in the corner. That's Uketsu. I feel like that's crazy. But I picked it up and then I started reading the inside because I have a personal pet peeve, just a side tangent. This is a paper cover and it still has like the inner thing instead of it being on the back. Bugs me when paperbacks have that, but whatever. So I read it and I was like, whoa, this sounds super cool. And then I flipped through it and there's pictures and there's maps and there's diagrams. And I was like, this is like something I have never read before. The closest thing that I could think of that I've read that's like this is House of Leaves. And I really liked House of Leaves. Don't ask me anything about it because it was just such a mind fuck, honestly, that I couldn't I couldn't even tell you. It was just, I remember just being astounded and like shocked the entire time. So I'm very excited. I'm exclusively wanting to read that on our trip, meaning either I am going to have to pause reading the Poisonwood Bible before we leave, or I'm gonna have to marathon read it between tomorrow and Thursday morning, which once I get my hands on a physical book and I actually see how far I am in it, I will be able to tell. So tomorrow's edition will have a definitive answer on that. But right now I'm kind of a little nervous. I don't like pausing books, but I also don't want to read something emotional on this trip. So I'm going to be very shook if this book ends up being emotional somehow. I really don't think it's going to be, but if it does, I'm gonna feel a little betrayed. So it's Monday night. We leave Thursday morning. We'll see how this goes. Good morning. Ignore the mess behind me. I'm getting ready to go to work, but I did want to check in just really quick. I finished the sample of David Archuleta's memoir, which is Devout. And I really liked it, but I think that that's something that A, I can wait to read, and B, I would definitely just get it on the Kindle. It's good, but it's not something that I could see myself wanting to keep. Just a quick fun fact about me. I've really downsized to the point that like I only keep books that I really, really like, and I keep them on this shelf. So once this shelf starts getting, you see how like we're stacking them and stuff. Once the shelf starts getting a little full, I start going through and giving books to friends. I go and donate them. I take them and trade them in so that I can buy other thrifted books. So it's one that I would put on the Kindle just for the sake of minimalism. Have a good day. I'll see you later. Hi, it is Tuesday afternoon. I just got home from work, which is why I feel like I look like a mess. I literally just walked through the door. I just wanted to do a quick update. This update's a little weird. So I finished a book for school and I uploaded that onto my Storygraph. It was good. It was conversational based writing more than like dense, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like dense philosophical, historical, theological. Like it's not hard to read, it's very conversational, and I really appreciated that because one of the books that I have to finish this week for school before I head into finals writing is so dense that I'm withering away. So this was a really nice one. I finished this one today. I don't usually put like a start date on books that I read for school because I do read them at the pace that I'm supposed to read them with the class. I could probably sit down and read it in like a day or two if it was just like a book that I was picking up, but it's not. But this is your update for the day. We have a book finished for the week, so that's cool. Hi, I think I look a mess, but I took a shower. It's Tuesday night, I have a live stream of an aquarium playing for me and Kevin to listen to, and I am reading my physical copy of the Poisonwood Bible. I am on page 99 so far, so a good little chunk of the way. Kevin's hanging out with me, but I wanted to note this one quote from the mother's entry. She is writing this specific entry in hindsight. So she has written this after they've already gone back to America. A lot of the timeline I'm finding right now is kind of jumbled, but like it's still chronological, but when the entries are written is not chronological. But she's talking about just the differences in the languages and how, depending on how you sing certain words in the native language, depends on how it's taken. So one of the things they sang was a hymn that either meant Father in Heaven or Father of Fish Bait, depending on how you sing it, and that pretty well summed up my quandary. And then she says, I could never work out whether we were to view religion as a life insurance policy or a life sentence. And I thought that was really cool. And I liked that. I really like seeing all of these different perspectives, and I'm really enjoying this so far. So that's the check-in for the night. Hi, welcome from the kitchen again. It's Wednesday afternoon. I just got home from the eye doctor and I have an astigmatism. This eye doesn't work as good as this eye. Boo. But it was like a super easy process. That was my first time ever going to the eye doctor. So yay, got that done. I owe you a reading update, and the reading update is I am 150 pages in the Poisonwood Bible, and it's getting good. I don't want to give anything away, but we're starting to see a little bit of culture war happening within the family. Maybe not so much between the villagers and the family, but like within the family themselves, there's a little bit of a culture war, a little bit of not getting over the culture shock happening, and Kevin just let himself in. That's crazy. He absolutely just let himself into the house. Wow. Okay, now that I fixed that, let's get back to this. I think so far Ada is my favorite character. She is the daughter, one of the twins, and she has some kind of disability, but it's not really specified what kind of disability it is. But given from the fact of her writing and some of the things that we're beginning to learn about her, I really think that it's a form of cerebral palsy. But I could be wrong, so I'll figure that out as I read it, I guess. But that's the update for today. I am gonna sit down and marathon read a good chunk tonight. I am determined to at least get 65% of the way through this book. I don't really have anything else to do tonight other than pack for my trip that we leave on tomorrow, because I did all my homework for this week already. Woo! And I officially don't have any work to do, like work to do, because I'm officially on vacation. So I'm going to read a lot to get as far into this as possible. And I have made the decision, the executive decision, that if I don't finish it before we're officially like on our trip, like in the cabin, I'll take it with me to read in the car. But if it's not finished by the time we're there, I'm not reading it while we're in the cabin. I'm going to read Strange Buildings, because that is what I bought that for, and I definitely will be able to finish that in the 3 days that we're on this trip. So I will have it with me, but I have made the executive decision. It's going to be emotional just from what I've already read. I know it's going to get emotional. I don't want to I don't want to be a little emo, you know? So that's your reading update for today. I'll see you later. this Wednesday night. I am a good chunk of the way through this book, and I just finished the most jarring part, I think. I made a good choice deciding to not read this at the cabin. All right, we are at Friday early evening, late afternoon, I guess. This morning I finished the Poisonwood Bible. I only had like 20 pages left when we had gotten here, and I was the first one up this morning at like 6 a.m. So I just went ahead and finished it. It was so good. It was so good. I could tell kind of where it was gonna go, like how it was gonna end, but I didn't super mind because it took kind of like a roundabout way to get to the ending that I figured was going to happen. And just the perspectives, and there were time cuts, and I just really enjoyed it. I think I rated it on Storygraph 4.75, so that's really high for me, and I will be recommending this book probably to anyone who likes grounded, realistic fiction. The just religious elements, the like wrestling with faith too was like really good, just across multiple characters. Some of them kind of just like, I guess you would say, stayed with the Kool-Aid, and then others found their way out, and it's just really cool to see. We're at the cabin, obviously, that's our cabin. And now I am 60-ish pages into Strange Buildings, and it is not quite what I was expecting, but it is good so far, so I am looking forward to continuing, but I just don't think that it's going to give quite what I was wanting, and I'm okay with that, as long as it picks up, because if every chapter is the way this first chapter was, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish it, truthfully. So that's the update for the trip.